You can actually write it down over here in the comments. Actually, that's actually a better idea. Just write it down here in the comments. So are you constantly reminding your teachers to clean the counters, to move away paper, to clear clutter, to wash the paintbrushes, to clean out the sink, to sweep the floor, to take out the garbage? Please write down your top 3 things that you're doing. And while you're doing it, let me say hi to people that just came in. Blumy's here and Elisheva's here. Hi. All right, so let me see some of the stuff that are the top things that you guys are reminding your teachers to do. And then we're going to get into the strategy. I'm really excited. I prepared some great stuff. It's awesome. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So just pop into the chat box and just write down your top 3 things, or even just one thing that you are constantly reminding. Put supplies back and extra papers. Yep. Clean craft carts and counters. Sign in and sign out. Oh, for them when they have to punch in and punch out. Bring food back to the kitchen. Don't leave stuff on top of the cubbies in the hallway. Books on the counters. Materials from art activities. Yes, yes. Very common, as you can see. Same things happening in all the schools. Leftovers after arts and crafts. Yes, big one. Hi, Estrella. Okay, so now that you know the big, clean the common kitchen, put away their room snacks, wash their cooking materials. Okay, dusty shelves. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, so this is great. So a lot of the common answers are about the counters, which are a huge eyesore to any director and to any teacher. Making sure that containers are in the proper spaces, cubbies are clear, paintbrushes are clean, paint is cleaned out of paint cups, outdoor cleanup, yes. Shared common spaces are a huge, huge piece. Like, everyone just kind of leaves out and doesn't realize that, like, hello, like, no one's really cleaning this up. You guys got to take care of this. Yeah, big common spaces are a big one. Like, the kitchen is a common space. So everyone kind of just feels like, well, it's not my kitchen. They just kind of take all their stuff and, you know, for lack of a better word, take your shit and go. Like, that's kind of what happens. And yeah, and it's not okay. Yeah, so, and then the paintbrushes are a big one, because the excuse a lot of teachers will have is like, but the kids are there, but we have 15 2-year-olds. We don't have enough help. We don't have enough people to clean the paintbrushes. And again, it's excuses. It's not a reason not to clean it up. Okay. Awesome. So now that you wrote down exactly what are the things that are constantly coming up, the next thing that I want you guys to think about is the concept of storage rooms, putting things away correctly. Yeah, so storage rooms are common spaces. And it gets very, very tricky when you're working in common spaces. So the next thing you want to think about is the 3 C's of running the organization, of running your school, and David Marquet talks about this a lot. I'm going to talk about this in connection with the cleanup. But for those of you that have the conference pass, definitely make sure that you watch his session. It is amazing. So anyways, when we're talking about cleanup and the cleanliness in the classroom, there's 3 things you're thinking about, okay? Number 1 is the competency level. Are the teachers physically competent to put supplies away? And the answer is yes. Every single teacher that's working in your school building is physically capable and competent to put it away. Unless your teacher is physically unable, like they're in a wheelchair or they're in crutches or whatever it is, and they can't move around the building or whatever it is, that makes them incompetent to put supplies away. As long as a teacher is able and has 2 functioning hands and 2 functioning feet, she is competent enough to put the supplies away, right? And the reason I say that is because you always have to understand the competency level, okay? A 5-year-old is not competent enough to put supplies on a top shelf. They can't reach it. They don't understand they need to take a stool to reach it. Even if they take a stool, they can't reach it. So when an adult says, oh, but I couldn't reach it, that's a little bit of a problem, because you're an adult. If you can't reach something, get a chair. Like, understand that there's other ways to get on top. So that's a competency thing. So yes, teachers are competent enough to put things away. The next thing is the control. Are we giving teachers the control to be part of that process? Which means, let me hear from you guys a little bit. When it comes to the common spaces, what are some of the things that you've tried already? when it comes to working through cleaning the counters, putting stuff away, the storage room, the outdoor spaces? What are some of the things that you've tried? Hi, Malka. How are you? Okay, so while you guys are writing sign-up lists to weekly, okay, sign-up lists to clean the kitchen. Awesome. Rotating who takes care of the space. Reminders in the weekly memo. Okay, making a checklist that needs to be completed daily. Sarah, who made the checklist that needs to be completed daily? Assigning each classroom to a day to clean up the storage room. Who created that checklist? And who created the rotating system, who takes care of the spaces? And who created the sign-up list? Okay. So Sarah says that she created the sign-up list. Sandy says she made a checklist. Hi, Shani. Reminders in the weekly memo. Stephanie, rotating. Who prepared the rotation? So Sandy says, we did it as a management group of what we saw we needed to have done. So management group is like you and kind of like the admins who work with you. I just want to get clear on that, just because every school kind of has different names for who kind of works in the admin or management group. Okay, so Itty says, I gave bins. Hold on a second here. I gave bins, telling them every day the supplies should go back in there. Teachers decide with each other who will take out and who will put it back. Jill says, I created the sign-up list. Sandy says, yes. Okay. Hi, Suzanne. Okay. So here's a thing that myself and a few of the teachers. Okay. Awesome, Stephanie. Okay. So here's the thing that might seem a little counterintuitive. Not so much counterintuitive, but okay, let me just read this for 1 second before I give this. Okay. I'd like things to just be put away after they're done being used. If you take it out, put it away. They're really in charge of their class, and shared spaces are expected to be kept clean in respect for others. Yeah. So here's the thing, going back to control, okay? When people have control of what it is that they're doing, there's immediate more ownership to that, okay? So when we're creating checklists for the classroom, okay? I'm the director. If I'm creating the checklist, that means I'm the one that's responsible for that checklist. And so what you want to do is you want to sit down with your teachers and thinking about all the spaces that you were talking about, the painting, the outdoor space, all of that kind of stuff, and you're having a conversation with your teachers, okay? So let's start with something as simple as the counters, the cleaning of the clutter of the counters, okay? You're sitting down with your team, and we're having a brainstorming session about the general upkeep of the building, maintenance of the building. We're having a brainstorming session of how to make sure that the maintenance is working appropriately. And what you would do is, in preparation for that meeting, is you would tell every single teacher, I want you to come with 2 or 3 ideas of how we can improve the maintenance of the building. Okay, how we can make sure that the building always looks pretty, your classrooms always look really well maintained. I want you to bring some ideas. At the meeting, you're going to be the last one to speak. So you're going to go over to a teacher's going to start off the meeting. Okay, so let's say you pick on, I don't know, one teacher. Let's say her name is Jamie. Okay, Jamie, I want you to start the meeting. Great. Jamie starts the meeting. Jamie says, okay, I'm going to start with sharing my ideas. So Jamie says, the 2 ideas that I thought of how we can make sure that my classroom is cleaner is that, you know, I sat with my team and we decided that every day at 12:30 after the kids, you know, leave the classroom or whatever it is, we're going to have a reminder that goes off on our phone. And that's going to be a reminder with 5 different things that we have to look through. We pick the 5 top things. Each of us is taking, you know, 2 things. So in under 60 seconds, the entire classroom is clean. That's our idea. Okay, then she goes to the next teacher. The next teacher shares her idea. And every single teacher shares an idea. You do not talk. You do not say great idea, not good idea, yes, good idea. Everyone is sharing around because yes, good idea, not good idea, you're judging their ideas. You're not judging their ideas. Think about with the child's artwork. When the child comes to you with their artwork, you don't say, oh, what a beautiful painting. You say, tell me about your picture. I notice X, Y, and Z, right? Because you're not judging their work. The same thing is with the teachers. You're not judging the ideas that you gave, that they brought. If you want them to consistently bring their ideas, you can't judge their ideas. So, even if it's a great idea, okay? It's just like saying with the kid, like, but what do you mean? If it's gorgeous, like, I'm just going to boost their self-esteem. No, you're not, because now they start having this whole contraption that, well, what if the next picture I make isn't as pretty? The teacher has the same concept. Well, maybe next time I won't have such a good idea, so I'll just keep quiet next meeting. I don't have any good ideas this time. There's no such a thing as good ideas. We all want your ideas. So everyone goes around the room, everyone shares their ideas. And you take all the data on your chartboard, and you start writing everything down. Okay, now let's sort through them. What are some ideas that everyone agrees on? What are some ideas that everyone's excited about? Oh yeah, I really like that idea of the timer. Oh, I really like that. Oh, I really like that. Okay, now let's look through this. Does this align with what a clean classroom looks like in our school? So every different school has a different standard of cleanliness, okay? Some schools have a crazy standard of cleanliness. Where I worked in Preschool of the Arts in Manhattan, she had a really high standard of cleanliness. But she also had full-time cleaning help to uphold that high standard of cleanliness. So as teachers, we didn't have the laborsome responsibility of upholding to her high standard of cleanliness. She hired full-time cleaning help who was constantly going around the school and dusting and mopping and spraying and cleaning and wiping and scrubbing, and a whole day they were just cleaning the building because all day she wanted the building to sparkle. No problem. She hired full-time cleaning help. Most schools cannot afford that. You don't have to afford that. But you have to understand that you can't have a standard of cleanliness where it's sparkling and glistening and you can lick the floors all day long if you don't have full-time cleaning help, right? So are you adjusting your standard to the resources that you have available? So when you tell your teachers you have to do is that reasonable what you're asking them? And that's why I told you to write down what you're constantly asking them to clean up. And for most of you, what you're saying are very normal, reasonable requests. The clutter, the this, the that. Dusting is not a reasonable request, okay? The teacher has 18 kids. She's not dusting the classroom. That's the cleaning lady's job, not hers. That should never be a teacher's job to have to dust the area. She has to clear the counters and make sure there's no paint or whatever it is on, like make it look like livable. Dusting is a whole different level. So again, you have to understand the level of competence, the standard that you're asking of yourself. So let me pause. Let me make sure that everyone is following along with me. So first, let me say hi to everyone that just came. So Kathy's here, Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. Jamie just walked in. Okay, fine. Suzanne, yeah, I said hi to you before. Okay, so before I go into the final phase of just helping you understand how to walk your teachers through creating their own checklists, because anything that you want the teachers to do and take ownership of, they have to create it. It has to be theirs. They have to take the ownership. If you want them to take the ownership, you can't hand them, here's a checklist, do it. Why should I do your checklist? That's like giving a teacher, here's a curriculum, do the curriculum. She has no connection to the curriculum. Why should she do any of the ideas in there? She has no relationship to any of it. You could give her the curriculum and say, I want you to pick 6 ideas from here that you connect to or that you relate to. Great, now we're talking on a different scale. So let me hear from you guys what you're taking from this so far. Those of you that have been sharing, what are your thoughts about sitting with the teachers and having them share ideas of what a clean classroom looks like, of what the outdoor space should look like, and how it should be maintained without you sharing any of your own ideas? Again, the minute you share your ideas, you've biased the room. And you need to remember that as a leader. The moment you've shared your own idea, you've poached all ownership and responsibility. You share your ideas at the end. after everyone has shared, because the moment you share your idea, you're the leader. You've biased the entire room to your idea. Anyone that shares an idea after you has to own up to your idea. And so a new employee, an assistant, a new teacher is never going to open up her mouth because